I've been told that people seem to think that I love to hear myself talk. And it is very true. I do love to hear myself talk. They'll never get me to admit it, but I do. All right. Endymion. We love Endymion. Endymion is great. He's a good creator. He's got some pretty good opinions, and I'm really glad to get my news from him. All right. With that said, let's go. Let's see what the truth that game developers have finally told is.
There's something I've been noticing lately,
you know what? This is
and
probably
it keeps
loud.
coming true every single time, and it never doesn't annoy me that it happens time
Is this good?
and time again. There's very clearly
I hope this is
an
good.
uneven way
Scream
that
at me if
games
it's
are
not.
being judged and championed depending on what they are and what they push. This will be a video that's a little bit weird, I will have to admit. I want to talk about Knight's Path. I want to talk about 1348X Votto, Lords of the Fallen even, Lords of the Fallen 2 as well, and even Mugenics, a game about breeding cats somehow that found its way into this culture war-like scenario that frames all of this that I'm about to talk about really nicely.
I mean, again, I think indie games are really kind of showing the bare ass of the AAA industry. A little louder? Okay, I gotcha. No worries. Let's go. Let's try right there. But they're definitely showing the bare ass of the AAA industry, and eventually people are going to get to the point where they're just going to say the quiet part out loud because the quiet part is no longer going to become the quiet part.
See what I mean. But before we begin, let's thank the sponsor of this video, Factor.
Factor.
While I love eating food, I do not like making it because I'm lazy. Thankfully, Factor hits both
just like me
for me by offering simple, easy to prepare meals that are full of nutrition, which is great for someone like me, honestly.
Is that the
meals
maple
range
leaf?
from full chicken breast and potato meals, or even this diced beef with curry and vegetables that I'm eating right here, which is steaming hot, but also really tasty. But Factor is better for you too, and cheaper in the long run than spending loads of money on delivery apps instead too. Factor delivers fresh, never
I can believe
frozen,
that, honestly.
chef-crafted and dietitian-approved meals straight to your doorstep, ready to eat in just 2 minutes. It's designed to support your wellness journey, and this diced beef curry that I'm eating,
better than some of the microwave food you can get in the supermarket.
30 grams of protein right here alone. Factor also helps eliminate stress around cooking, planning, or cleanup, so you can stay focused on your goals instead of worrying about what to eat next.
I'm really liking the stock
is
footage.
So simple, even I can do it. You
can
either poke
nothing
holes
says
in
a
the
good
top and
food
put it in your
commercial like
toaster
seeing
oven,
people
or
do
toss that
physical
sucker right into
exercise.
your actual oven too. Just forget about it for a few minutes, and voila, your meal is ready. That's honestly all you have to do. It's seriously that easy. And if I can do this without screwing anything up myself, anyone with a brain can do it too. It's an added bonus as well. That it's also a
I've got some family recipes that
ready to go
I've gotten from,
you can enjoy 100
obviously some older generations of my family. If you ever want to see a cooking stream, let me know. I can actually cook, believe it or not.
Factor also now
I can cook decently enough. I just choose not to do it because I'm lazy as hell.
Plus 20 new ready-to-eat salads and grain bowls inspired by Sakura. Also, if you're worried about certain ingredients, you can also relax because Factor meals are designed with ingredient avoidance by default.
But you're going to have to be a little open-minded. Some of the ingredients are a little
you can enjoy flavor first
interesting. They're not bad, but they're just like, oh, I would never thought to put that in there.
And if you enjoy working out and keeping yourself strong, Factor has most of their meals deliver 30 plus grams of complete protein, up to 53 grams.
And we're good Americans here. We cook everything in butter.
Like I said, that beef curry
we don't use none of that margarine bullshit.
You can also enjoy new protein
cooking stream. Sign me up. All right. Well, if I can figure out how to do it, I totally 100% will.
Another great thing is nothing
that'll be in the future though. Like maybe
so no refined seed oils,
probably
sugars,
a month or two, if anything. That'd be probably the fastest I can do it.
Healthy. And again, super easy to prepare. So head to factor75.com or click the link below in
One
the
person says, I want to watch it. All right, say no more. Signed up.
50% off your first Factor box, plus free breakfast for a whole year. That's code EndymionFB50 at factor75.com to get 50% off plus free breakfast for 1 whole year. It's really that easy. I mean, here's even one of my dogs who refuses to leave my side after she smelled that beef. And like, look at her. She wants a piece.
Sorry, Ed.
She's so cute. But you can also scan the QR code on screen to get yourself.
This is a long ad. Oh my God.
All set up real nice and easy too. Again, head to factor75.com or click the link below in the description and use code EndymionFB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box plus free breakfast for a single year. That's code EndymionFB50 at factor75.com to get 50%
that was a 2-minute
off plus
ad.
free breakfast.
They must have been paying
if you want super
a lot
easy,
for that
healthy,
spot.
Alternative meals that aren't full of nasty byproducts.
Don't rush it too hard. No, we're all rushed. No breaks.
It's so simple. Like I said, even I can do it. And
No
honestly,
brakes on
that's
this
the best
train.
praise that I can
If
give
I have
back.
brakes on
It
this
tastes
train, it
great,
means I
it's
won't
really
do it.
easy to store, and the convenience is exactly what I need due to the busy life I tend to lead. Thanks again to Factor for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to the video. Yeah, let's talk about knights and cats in this video. I know I make some
Yes.
questionable content from time to time. It is what it is. But anyways, Knight's Path is a game you
I mean, I
likely
wouldn't
know
call
about that
it
has been
questionable.
getting slammed really hard by the usual types because it's a game that famously said it would not include any modern agenda.
Again, the more backlash that games like this like receive, just the more signal boost it's going to get to their actual audience. It's almost paradoxical in the sense that they're trying so hard to like get rid of this game that it's only going to make it sell more because people are going to buy it out of spite. Like that's kind of like what happened with Stellar Blade, right? Like I know, controversial opinion. Stellar Blade was kind of like a mid-tier game. I know. You can hate me. But everybody went out and bought it and it was a huge success because everybody who was critical of it was signal boosting it to everybody. They're like, okay, yeah, this is such a bad game, XYZ. I hate this, I hate that. And then everybody who hated them in return said, well, I'm going to support that because you don't like it. I think we're looking at one of those situations right now.
This was because the developers stood defiant that they were not interested in pushing for LGBT content in their game, and instead wanted to hone in and focus on the game being a very specific game for a very specific kind of audience, that being just fans of medieval games that also enjoy low fantasy. Way too many publications have found a problem with this instead, despite on the other end you have 1348 Ex Voto. That's a game about a lesbian knight looking for
I'm gonna pull a nice play out of another content creator's playbook. What do you think that in 1348 Ex Voto, that all of the cultural issues that people are complaining about are going to be the least of the problems of the game? I'm willing to put a lot of money on the fact that there's probably going to be a lot more problems that are endemic to it that have nothing to do with any type of cultural arguments being made. Just saying. Seems to go in that direction.
For her lover in medieval Italy that has been getting nothing but praise from the exact same websites that conveniently hate Knight's Path. Like Tech Radar, for example, here, which said that 1348 Ex Voto is a game for them because it's about a female knight looking for her lover. Very obviously, this game is going to be upheld by the games industry because it represents everything that these types want these days. I wouldn't even be surprised if the two main character voice actors get nominated at the Game Awards, even if there are better performances objectively out there later down the line.
I could see that.
Simply because what these characters...
You know, I don't want to like... I don't want to go in too much on, you know, a good friend Geoff, because he's been having a rough one lately, especially with the, you know, monumentous release of a certain game that may be called Highguard. But the Game Awards definitely has, in a way, become a little bit more of an industry circle jerk, just like the other award shows for movies and such. Which is a shame, because I hate to see it, but maybe it is inexorable that all of these award-type shows start to become one of those circle jerk type of things. I wish it wasn't true. I wish it was more about the games. I wish it was more about, you know, hey, we have a good game here, play this game, you know, it's getting this award because it deserves it, rather than, you know, the critics or the critic type people awarding people for being there on their, I guess, socio-political agenda. But it is what it is.
Body is something that the industry
why nobody takes it seriously.
That's very, very obvious. I should probably say, before anyone tries to misquote me or something else, I don't think that Ex Voto looks bad at all. Actually, apparently, it's being sold at $30, and it's a single-player game that will only...
I will say one thing about Ex Voto not looking good, not looking bad. It does look okay, but it looked like in the trailer, some of the frame rate was a little bit suspicious, almost like the game was, or whatever they were doing, either uploaded it poorly, or more likely, it looks like it was having problems running it. which, you know, I don't want it to be a thing, but it does look like it's an Unreal game, and, you know, Unreal Engine games are kind of notorious for that. Award shows almost always devolve into who pays for it, it seems like. I don't know if it's like paying for it in the sense, like maybe in the traditional sense, but I definitely think that there's some, you know, behind the scenes hanky panky going on. Mostly because like it's almost impossible for it not to be. And that's how award shows kind of work, at least it seems.
Take you roughly about 8 hours to finish or so from start to finish, which is pretty good actually. So it's very much more of a cinematic story game than say what people may be used to these days. There's no battle passes, nothing like that. The Xbox version was also canceled.
Can we not have any more cinematic story games, please? There was a second Druckmann that hit the games industry. I hate it.
Coming to PS5 and PC.
Just give me a game that I can play.
2026, which yeah, that's pretty soon, I know. And I bet when it releases, it'll be getting glowing reviews. Again, because the subject matter of what this game entails, it's like fish bait for game reviewers these days. And I would also likely surmise that any actual issues with the game will be glossed over simply due to what the game represents and what it pushes. It's nothing necessarily new in a sense, but it is what it is, unfortunately. I mean, Knight's Path, however, has been getting nothing short of negative press from a lot of the usual type of websites as well. The game's bigoted, it's awful, it's a terrible game, despite, you know, not even being out yet, simply because it doesn't.
It's almost getting to a point where if somebody in the games industry says this game is X, this game is Y, this game is bigoted, I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'm buying that game. Just because these people are using words that have no meaning anymore. It's like, you can call it whatever you want, but at the end of the day, you're only, like, we all know as an open secret, you're calling it because it gives you a fear for the games industry being your safe space, which it's never been and it never should be. Because it's an artistic endeavor, first of all. And second of all, like, you're trying to colonize gaming space and it's not working and you are riling against it. Stop it. Go away. Let me have my entertainment and my video games in peace, please.
Have LGBT romance options in it. The hypocrisy of what's going on here is never not going to make me roll my eyes because I believe that neither game is problematic at all, and I'm being real. I think both games actually have the right to exist, but unfortunately, when 100%. It comes to everything these days, let's be real, it's always something political that ends up being the problem. Ex Voto would be given the same 100%. Negative press as Knight's Path if the developers there said that they weren't going to include LGBT themes or romance options, and it was instead a hetero love story instead, and we both know it. The only reason that game is even on anyone's radar is pretty simple, because it's something that reinforces what they already believe in. That's true of any side, of course, I know that. I feel as though that Knight's Path is very much in a similar pathway as Lords of the Fallen's developer CI Games actually too. Lords of the Fallen and its sequel Lords 2 have been getting also unfairly attacked by industry types as well for a long time, and I bring up the Lords game specifically.
I do remember that Lords of the Fallen did come under a lot of fire for some reason. I don't remember why it did, but I remember it was some stupid reason. I was just like, oh, okay, sure. I know they had their problems with their combat system. A lot of people didn't like that, but they fixed that. And there was still some other tertiary issue that, again, was just like, why are we talking about this? Who cares? Is the game good? Good. All right, cool. I'll play it.
Because they, just like Knight's Path, got treated the same way for a similar creative decision. I mean, the gamer infamously had this article titled, Lords of the Fallen 2 needs more than sexy women to be a good video game. That's interesting, that it's not a good game, despite many people actually loving the game already.
Lords of the Fallen 2 needs more than sexy women to be a good video game. Okay. It's about dudes in armor. I don't see a sexy woman in their promotional art. I mean, you know, I could be wrong. But sexy women definitely help. Sit down and think about that one. Don't think you did.
I've been replaying Lords 2 actually on stream recently, and yeah, it's still great. The only reason why, though, that games like Lords or Knight's Path are being targeted by the access media is because they are not willing to adhere to what the monolith wants and projects. If Lords had a trans option in their character creator, but kept everything else virtually the same, I guarantee you 100% that places like The Gamer would be sucking on the toes of CI Games. If they
I
added
bet
that as a
I would
feature in
bet
the
that
game, and then
100%
magically,
too.
oh, it would be an amazing game. Isn't that funny how that works? The same would also be true for Knight's Path. The fact that the media attacked the idea,
You know, I as a proud body type too, you know, really am offended that Lords of the Fallen uses male and female.
game so viciously, all because the developers basically said LGBT romance in medieval times. No, you just play as a guy and we're just more focused on, combat and swords and armor sets. Yeah, no, we're good. We're not adding that. And the industry was
You
like,
don't need
they
to.
must die. We have to destroy them. They're alt-right now. They're Yahtzees. Oh my God, it's Gamergate all over again. Except not really any of the above. I mean,
I need to start keeping track of words that are no longer have a meaning. Just have like a nice whiteboard behind me and just like get a marker every time and be like, oh, okay, so this word means nothing now.
They're just a team of two people who probably went, okay, we have a list of things we want to include that we're passionate about, that we want to put in this game. We don't have the resources to make this world as big as like a country or something, obviously.
That's a good point. They might not actually have the resources to change over it too.
And hopefully that'll be enough. And then these
that's like a scope creep issue.
And say, well, where's the gay romance? Where's my gay romance? Why can't I kiss men in this medieval game that I'm playing? Why isn't there some relationship option that affirms my identity? What do you mean you can only romance women? Like in medieval times?
Gross,
Why
women.
doesn't this game affirm my identity and political belief systems that only existed 10 years ago in a game clearly set hundreds of years before I or any ideology that I championed even existed in the first place? How dare these game developers make a game authentic to some capacity based on the time period that it is clearly being set in? Like, make it make sense. That's how these people sound. There's nothing wrong with what Knight's Path is doing.
You can't make it make sense because it inherently doesn't make sense. Honestly, it was an ideology, I believe, made to confuse you.
The same way that Lords of the Fallen went, yeah, we're just going to change it back to male.
Because once you're confused, you're easier to control.
The same thing. It is, after all, just a text prompt. So what's the big deal if they change it? Nope, the game sucks now. Everyone has to be nailed to the cross because you're not falling in line the way that we want to. This is why this sort of stuff is really dumb. Because
I'm actually excited for Lords of the Fallen too.
Games, like really everything.
Lords of the Fallen 1 was pretty fun. I still have to beat it.
To politics. None of these games journalists really give a lick about the gameplay or the systems within them. Most of them don't even beat the games that they review. It
definitely is fun.
They just open the game up and go, okay, are my political stances obeyed or denied in this game or not? Oh, they're obeyed. Then this game is amazing. Let's shower with more.
Also, the funny thing that he's talking about right now, he's talking about the people who are like, obviously so invested in an ideology that they're like, I have to make sure that my, ideology is serviced in this game. He touched on it. He said they just open up the game to see it. And then they don't do anything. They don't play the game. They don't talk about the game. They don't do anything else with it. These people don't show up for games. We're literally pandering to an audience that doesn't exist right now. It's like, why? They're not going to play your game. Hell, they'll probably buy the game, open it up, see that it's got the stuff they like, go, oh yeah, good game, then hit the refund button. I wouldn't make a game for those types of people.
More praise. They didn't include that one flag that didn't even exist 5 years ago in my real time period. Well, time to smash my keyboard and call everyone alt-right, because that's how my brain works apparently. You guys need to realize how crazy you sound. Look, I'm not gonna lie. Even people who push back,
they will never realize how crazy they sound. They have no self-reflection.
Dive way too deep themselves. I admit that, and they do make jokes of themselves. As I understand that completely, but there has to be some sort of middle ground here, where when it comes to how games are made and enjoyed, that doesn't just result in your game is bad because you aren't catering 100% to me like always. Like, it's childish. You know what I mean? Xvoto at least will probably get beaten by game reviewers because it lasts as long. I mean,
it's okay to make games for somebody who's not like for an audience.
Honestly, even then, I kind of think some game journalists will probably still not beat the game. I mean,
and it's okay for a game not to be for you.
But the point is, either way,
these people just don't understand that.
It's almost as if it's like digital catnip that has been designed specifically to cater to the people in this industry and its review systems just to get favorable reviews. Even if the swordplay ends up having problems or some textures that don't look very good or something else, it doesn't matter because look, it's gay.
Let's real quickly. Is it just me, or does it look like this is stuttering?
Industry and its review systems just to get favorable reviews. Even if the swordplay ends up having problems,
like it looks like it's being rendered in 30 FPS, right?
It doesn't matter because look, it's gay. That's really all.
Like there's something that looks off about that gameplay. Not that I'm trying to look to like pick it apart, but it's just like, you know, it's an Unreal Engine game. Maybe the Unreal Engine's being the Unreal Engine, but it looks like it's at 30 frames per second.
Needs to be. And look, being gay doesn't make your game better or worse, but it's very obvious there's a narrative that's
no, it should be good or bad, independent of your sexual orientation.
Cats. Don't click off the video. I promise this will make sense. Just trust me. So there's a game called Mugenics that recently came out on Steam. It's from Edmund.
That one's been doing really good, by the way.
Super Meat Boy, Binding of Isaac, and a bunch of other things you probably recognize as well. Anyways, his game Mugenics,
huge indie games,
soaring on the Steam charts. Like, come look at this. As you can see here, over 80,000 people on Steam alone are all breeding different kinds of cats to use.
Now that's a graph,
I guess. Mugenics also has mutations, by the way, as like a core mechanic of the game, and cats can also end up with all sorts of different abilities based on their breeding history as well. There's also gay cats and bi cats and a group of cats called Ditto cats. Yeah, like the Pokemon, because Ditto cats can breed with anybody, just like Ditto and Pokemon, hence the name. You can also have cats that have negative effects due to inbreeding. This will also affect all sorts of things like their stats and more. It's sort of like
kind of like my Crusader King runs
game with its whole lineage idea, but it's instead throttled to 1,000, but with cats, if that makes sense. Anyways, making cats breed is not the point of why I included it in a video about knights and gay romance, but instead the fact that Edmund, the creator of this game, decided to allow a bunch of different people from all over the political spectrum to voice lines in his like little cat game that he made.
Oh, wow, really?
Like Ethan and Gila Klein are in this game making cat noises, even Chris Chan. Yes, that Chris Chan, who, yes, did that with his mom that you know that I will not see on YouTube, but you know why. Yeah,
I did not expect to hear Chris Chan in this video. I did not expect to hear that name in this video or even have to think about that entire situation. We should see a Crusader Kings run at some point. I might do that. My problem with it is when I play Crusader Kings, I play very stupidly. And I do a lot of resetting. Wait, what? Yeah, you just heard the Chris Chan, huh? Yeah. Yeah, I'm still reeling from that one too. We're gonna keep going.
He's in the game too, making meow noises as well. There's also people considered very, very liberal or even conservative that are also included. Like just people at random are in this game. Aaron Hansen as an Egoraptor, he's in this game making cat noises.
Imagine.
Anissa Joma and iDubbbz are in this game making cat noises alongside, like I said, Ethan and Gila Klein. Cliff Bleszinski, the guy who did God of War, he makes cat noises
Gears
too.
of War.
Chills, you know the guy who
Wait, hang on.
Raptor, he's in this game making cat noises. Anissa Joma and iDubbbz are in this game making cat noises.
We're gonna do a fact check in real time.
And Gila Klein. Cliff Bleszinski, the guy who did God of War.
Okay, we're gonna do a fact check in real time. Who made God of War? Not Cliff Bleszinski. Who made Gears of War? Fake gamer. He's a fake gamer. We're exposing legendary drops right now. He's a fake gamer. Cliff Bleszinski did Gears. Honestly, I bet you he probably just saw GOW and thought God of War, not Gears of War. We're starting beef, boys.
Too. Chills, you know the guy who number 5, number 4, the guy that sounds like that, you know the guy. Anyway, yeah, he's in the game too. Corpse Husband is also in the cameo list.
Jesus,
David
this
Harbour,
is such a
I assume they mean as in the guy from Stranger Things is also in this game.
Meat Canyon
Emerald
too
is in the game making cat noises. Felicia Day, Jay Bowman from Red Letter Media, Lily Pichu's in it too. Rich Evans also from Red Letter.
Oh my
Media,
god!
Also Mike that's from there as well. Rocco Bot from Mega 64. Zach Hadel that's one of the co-creators of Smiling Friends. The list goes on and on. They're all in the game. The point is that a lot of the people that are
hang on. Let me guess. The point is that there are so many people from different walks of life that it should serve as a good reminder that it doesn't fucking matter. Hear me out. It doesn't fucking matter what your political opinion is if it's a product for people to enjoy and detach from the problems of reality. Wouldn't that be an impressive point to make?
Cameoing as cats that are meowing in this game.
How did he find Corpse Hunter? And he basically fell off the face of the earth. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's a lot of backdoor connections that creators have with one another. Like when a creator disappears from my, perspective, or at least maybe my interpretation, they disappear publicly, but they probably still keep in contact privately with the people that they've, done stuff with, or, maybe he knew a friend of Corpse Husband. Like that stuff happens all the time. I wouldn't imagine that he completely cut contact with everybody.
They're all over this game, right? They're all in it. And because of this, there are people who each have the fan bases that vary, let's be honest, very politically, depending on who you ask that are in this game. And people are not happy about that one bit.
Of course, people wouldn't be happy.
Like I said, with Lords,
they have to find some reason to hate something.
People really don't like supporting or playing something if someone involved in it has different political opinions.
Wow.
Edmund, for example, shared that Emeru was playing eugenics live on stream, as you can see here on screen.
Okay. I remember this happening. Emeru played it on stream and he said, "Oh, sweet, Emeru's playing my game on stream," and people screeched out. And I think he eventually told them, like, "Guys, fuck off." Like, what are you talking about? It's just a streamer playing a silly cat game. It doesn't have to be political.
And then a user says, "We won't be watching her, sorry Edmund." All because the people who liked that post and said that obviously hated Emeru for whatever reason it is.
Imagine how
because she won't denounce
terminally online you have to be like that.
It really doesn't matter. Here you can also see a bunch of terminally online people with varying flags. And
still impressive. He's been out for 4 years after that possibly fake face stocks happened. I'm not too familiar with Corpse Husband, his content, or what happened. I don't know anything about the guy. I just know the name. I've heard it floating around before, but I don't know anything about it. So, unfortunately, I have nothing to say on it.
Bio and name arguing that Edmund allowing Emeru as a cameo is bad because Emeru is like the worst thing to ever exist, apparently. And the same thing has been said about Ethan.
By the way, Emeru, notorious non-political streamer with non-political opinions that she puts out with non-offensive content, with non-edgy anything, very mundane milquetoast type of funny haha, let's just enjoy things together and be nice to one another content creator is offensive. Wow.
Klein being in this game, or iDubbbz, it really doesn't matter who you pick. Someone somewhere has a problem with someone else that's in this game, and that is the point. But as this interview from Rock Paper Shotgun states, Edmund McNillen on assembling eugenics meow cameo list, the inclusion of people with clashing ideologies felt appropriate. As Rock Paper Shotgun details here, people hate that Ethan and Hila are in this because of their views on Israel and Palestine.
Oh wow, let's go ahead and start bringing in Middle Eastern politics into our funny cat game. That sounds like a great idea. Like, let's write an entire fucking article about it. This is about a game allegedly, and we have to talk about some type of protracted political struggle halfway across the globe, which we've been struggling for the last 20 years. Most of the people have been not even born as this political debacle happened. Let's go ahead and just continue to bring that up in our video game that has nothing to do with it. I hope I've made my point clear that it doesn't matter. Shut the hell up. Talk about if the game is good or not. Who cares what these people behind the scenes do? Who cares?
Matan Evan is in this, which is apparently bad because he was on InfoWars at one point. But the game also has trans YouTubers that people either like or don't like as well for any number of reasons. As Edmund further detailed here, as he says, "I made sure to contact both, as in Ethan, Hila, and iDubbbz and Anissa, he means, to make sure that they were okay with the others' involvement, so that it didn't feel like a weird gotcha on release. They were both very adult about it and said they had no issue with the other being added, and I really respect that.
Imagine people being grown up.
have been publicly feuding for a while now. It's hard to explain without revealing aspects of the game people haven't really experienced yet, but the inclusion of people with clashing ideologies felt appropriate. Edmund then continues, I understand we live in a time where a meow from someone who has different beliefs as you is scary and frustrating, confusing, and controversial. But it felt interesting, so I decided to explore it. Also, I should probably point out that I don't share the same opinion as, well, probably any of the people we included. If I only included people who shared the same exact opinions as me, I'd be the only one meowing in the game. I included Chris, but also Liquid Chris. Those who know.
Oh my God.
I didn't realize that Matan Evan was even
He not only had solid Chris, he had Liquid Chris too. I'd say the rabbit hole goes deep, but I guess this is really more of a cat hole if you sit down and think about it.
controversial. I mean, a lot of these people are characters just doing bits. So the point is that Edmund just included literally anybody and everybody that he could think of, regardless of their beliefs.
That's a good marketing strategy too.
It's a game that probably has someone in it that you don't like for whatever.
Oh, your God, what? Oh, your God about what?
Whatever reason, I guess, but Edmund did it anyways because he clearly wanted to prove a point, which is that ultimately
I know
none of this matters. It's all kind of silly.
This man is the avatar.
Like you because you don't pander to
yes,
me
he
directly
is.
and what I want, and seeing how certain groups reacted to hearing that this game that they apparently loved and playing when it first released were suddenly now asking for refunds because some person they didn't like was in the game doing cat noises. It is what it is. Like, this is what I'm talking about. This stuff is ridiculous. It's that all of this is just pretty much nonsense. It's why what happened with
I can't believe people would be this dumb.
What you need to see.
That's a lie. I know people can be this dumb.
Viral, just kind of explosive.
I guess those two statements can exist at once. I know people will be this dumb, and I can't believe people would be this dumb.
Stuff like Xvado, they're all being treated the way that they are because no one can agree on anything. Edmund made a good decision, in my opinion, by putting all these controversial people in his game because now nobody could honestly claim that he's trying to appease any one side of any argument. And that's
well,
kind of the point.
He's going to get all these audiences as exposure as well.
Everybody off all at once, and I kind of
good marketing strategy. Honestly,
the fact that he knew that he was including people that he didn't even agree with politically, that takes a lot of balls to do. Edmund even.
I'm just surprised he didn't get the Cockroach King himself.
Were included in the game where he would say this. It's sad that some people might read this or other articles and be so off-put by the idea of an inclusion of someone they don't like so much that they will never play the game. But I'm not sure someone would be that upset by a problematic meow would really enjoy the game that much anyway. Honestly, the thing that bothers me the most
it seems pretty sardonic.
If a cat
actually
appears with the voice of someone you hate, you can literally throw it in the trash, or worse. People need to get more creative with their hate, and that's kind of what I mean. Mugenics might not get nominated for any awards. Who knows? Hell, the industry might just shun the game and pretend it doesn't exist because this person or
I think that's probably likely what's going to happen.
Proves one thing for sure. It's all hypocrisy in the end anyways. The fact that Xvado is seen as this shining glimmer of hope, yet Knight's Path is now the literal devil, all because of something as dumb as romance options. I mean, it tells you everything. The industry just doesn't want to fix itself. It instead just wants to affirm what they believe while pushing out everyone else instead. And the way that they treat certain games over others, it does nothing but prove.
They really want to force you to like legitimize literally anything that they I think that's more what I'm trying to say. It's not about forcing you to legitimize anything. It's more about wanting you to be in submission to them. And really, I think that's probably where we're at, where they're just trying to get you to submit to their whatever demands that they're making. And people don't, surprisingly, people don't take kindly to being told that you must do something.
That this mentality is going to be here to stay because everyone is so blinded by all of this hate. I don't think that any game mentioned in this video is bad or should be attacked or hated, but the truth is simply that people are so used to being a part of these political
Right, but they could be bad. We just don't know yet because they haven't come out yet.
Echo chambers, if you will. It has completely warped their understandings of how to view people as just human beings anymore. Knight's Path is just as valid as Ex Voto, as is Lords of the Fallen or even Eugenics. And if looking at these games makes you hope that any one of these games will fail, it's likely because you are also stuck in the same loop that I'm talking about. But when these journalists say that Ex Voto is a game that is made for them, believe what they're telling you, because they're being...
Most people don't want any game to fail, because any game that fails is just another problem for the games industry in general. Like, nobody truly wants to see a failing game. What they want to see is they want to see a game that was made specifically to try to club them in the head with political ideology fail, because they don't want that in their games. They want genuinely, good games from an artistic perspective and from, a place of passion. Political messages aren't from a place of passion. Political messages are from the pulpit, and nobody wants to feel like they're going to a sermon.
As mask off as they will probably be to you in that very moment. That is them being honest to you for once in their lives. They don't mean the gameplay, they don't mean the graphics or even the voice acting. What they mean by "it's for me" is the message. That's what they really care about. The reason for why it exists in the first place. And it's exactly why when Knight's Path does, launch, you will see these same types of people try to tear it down. It doesn't matter if it's a game about knights fighting knights or lesbian knights or knights with magical lanterns that can go between worlds, or games about breeding weird cats. It's all the same thing in the end. I do wish that the games industry and the media in general was more fair about these things, even though they never will be, let's be honest.
Yeah, I would say they're never going to be, because there is a monetary interest in not being. Once you're able to stop them from having a monetary interest and being disingenuous, then you're going to see some change. I mean, I guess the change has already kind of started to happen, because there are, obviously alternative media sources, which are people like you, where a lot of people come to get their video game opinions from, or to hear news on the video game industry, because they know that it's all just, smoke and mirrors. Really, the only people right now who are patronizing games journalists are third-party journalists, if we really sit down and think about it. Without them, we wouldn't have any content to watch.
But it's important to always stand up for the sorts of games that do get attacked by these types, because those are the games that actually challenge the ideals of today. Another game championing LGBT stuff is really nothing new. No matter the setting, it's what we always expected it to be. Lords of the Fallen was going to be attacked no matter what, and still to this day, all because the developers realized that they were done with catering to people who clearly were not in their corner anyways. They probably didn't buy the game, they were never going to buy the game, and now they're just mad that a game that they were never going to play in the first place is now catering to people who will actually play the game anyway. So you know what I mean? Like, that's really what's happening. Because if the people who made Lords of Fallen were, going to make changes to male or female or something like that, these types would be championing the game like crazy. The truth is that you're only really as useful as long as you push what these types want. It's why
I think that's probably a good point, is he said the word useful.
Award season, very likely.
I like that word. At least in the context of what he's saying, is like, these people don't view video games as, what they are. They view them as a tool, which hurts me to say.
Red carpet will be thrown in front of its actors. Even if that game is not the next great thing, it really won't matter. It just needs to align with what...
Hang on, what was that cross section right there?
Game is not the next great...
Is the sword on the tip of that axe? Hold up. We're gonna need to do it. We're gonna need to do an instant replay here.
Actors, even if that game is...
Okay, it's obviously underneath the axe right here. But I think it phases through to the front, right?
Not the next...
It is. It literally... This is a pre-rendered cutscene. And your sword literally phased through the bottom of the axe, making it look like you're pushing it through the very bottom of the blade of the axe. Which it would just slip in and just bisect you, just for their information. That's not how weapons work. That is They did the Assassin's Creed Shadows thing. I don't remember the Assassin's Creed Shadows thing, but I remember something similar to it now that you're mentioning it. But still, you would think that they'd be able to get the blocking right on this. Not blocking as in like blocking a blade, blocking as in like movement that actors on a stage take. Oh boy. Same thing happened in the trailer. That was a AAA game too, that's even worse.
Great thing, it really won't matter. It just needs to align with what the people who control things want, and then that'll be enough. I wager once Lords of the Fallen 2 even comes out that the usual types will find any excuse in the book that they can also do.
Once Lords of the Fallen 2 comes out, then people are going to find some reason to hate it.
I mean, had a trans option, these people would be saying that it's the best Souls game they ever played, probably solely because it caters to them and they know it. It is tiring to see at this point. These people never change how they view things, because to challenge their own views, it's akin to heresy pretty much. With Knight's Path, it is going to be used as a cautionary tale, like mark my words, despite even being anywhere close to releasing yet because of what it like politically represents, if you will. A game that was made for gamers by gamers who love and want to celebrate that potential time period exactly. That's what I mean.
I hope it does well.
Have that apparently. Maybe if Knight's, Path,
because it seems like it comes from a place of passion,
gay romance or something, the Game Awards will probably pay for the flights of the developers to like LA come award time. Probably. It's all hypocritical.
Just got to that, but that a trans option is complete madness. Yeah.
It disgusts me, and it makes me realize that the games industry is uniquely being held back by the tired opinions of the people.
Forcing people to put in those types of things when the game's already completed too is ridiculous because of how much you'd have to put into it, like on a game's aspect.
Instead, just going to get ridiculed no matter what. Attacked.
If they don't want to put it in the game, then
people are just so afraid.
Who cares? It's not in the game. Is the game good? Okay, well then just play the game.
We keep playing and buying games that challenge these ideas. We show support for Knight's Path. We play Lords and Lords 2. You can play Xvado 2 if you want to. We have to show the industry that this is not only a hunger for these sorts of games, but real tangible audiences that are willing to show up day one and support them too. And again, thanks to Factor for sponsoring this video. Again, head to factor75.com or click the link below in the description and use code EndemionFB50 to get 50% off your first Factor box plus
forcing somebody
for 1 whole year. That's code EndemionFB50
to put into a game
factor75.com. To get 50%
something
off
that
plus
you
like for a whole year.
Are mandating needs to happen.
Thanks for watching, guys, as well.
Is ridiculous.
Eventually, you can't be ignored. Your opinions no longer seem, as they would say, evil, but instead make these people realize, wow, you're actually just normal. It's not to say that Xvado can't exist either, like I said, or that what it's doing isn't normal, but we need all of these games to exist and more, and to not put them in these selected groups. Instead, they need to just be viewed as what they were always intended to be viewed as, which is video games, and that has to be enough. The point is that we should be more open to things that we maybe disagree with if an industry like this is meant to heal to any capacity. But what do you think? Let me know. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time.
Thank you, Endymion. Like, so I mean that he makes no sense. A trans option is incredibly stupid, in my opinion. If I want to be a woman IRL, then I'm just going to choose to be a woman in the game. Exactly. Like, it's almost, how do I want to put it? It's almost insulting to the point saying that you need to have a third category in order to represent you if you happen to be trans, when, as far as I'm aware, the whole point of being trans is wanting to be the other gender. So saying that you have a specific space carved out to you is immediately putting you in a position that you are abnormative. In wanting to do the right thing to people, they are proving the point that it is the wrong thing to do. By any standard of logic. It's just like, what are you doing? I mean, it's just like whatchamacallit, just like Veilguard, where they had the scars option. It's like, oh, who wanted that? Like, really, who wanted that? I can tell you all the people who are, you know, my friends in my life who actually happen to be trans don't want that. Because they find it to be just completely obnoxious, really, honestly. It's, oh my god. I'm actually kind of stun-locked right now by the sheer brilliance displayed by the games industry side here. You're right, it's brilliance. My bad. These people, they're playing fifth dimensional chess, and I just don't understand it. I'm too stupid. I just wish that they would stop putting or trying to force people to bend the knee in any protracted way. Like, let people just make games. If they're good, they're good. If they're bad, they're bad. I think that's probably the best standard. The problem is they, you know, they can't make any good games, so they have to bring down people who can make good games to make the, quote, decent games for themselves. And it's just sad. It really is. I don't know. It makes me upset every time I have to, like, hear about somebody in the games industry making some type of, like, forced, protracted requirement for some type of political ideology that has nothing to do with the game. Like, my favorite thing is Body Type 1 and 2. I made a joke about it earlier, but like, I'll actually talk about it right now. I hate seeing Body Type 1 and 2. Like, who is that made for? Literally nobody. Everybody knows that there is male and female. And male and female bodies have very distinct and different looks to it. And trying not to offend anybody by calling it Body Type 1 and Body Type 2 is stupid on its face. Because they're going to get offended by literally anything anyway. And if you can't risk being offended in general, then why are you buying a game? I don't know. It sets me off a wall. That type of stuff sets me off a wall. I'm gonna hop off my soapbox now. We got shit to do.